Hello guys, welcome to Clarity for Sure. Welcome to the third part of July current affairs. Okay, I hope all of you are preparing well, right? And because the exam season is in full swing, so these sessions of current affairs becomes very important for you, right? So how you can take benefit from these particular series is that after you read the question, try to pause the video, then try to answer it by yourself. Okay, then again resume the video, check whether you've answered correctly or not, or whether you know the concept or not, or whether you know the current affairs or not. So in this way, you will be able to check while learning something new, right? So let's begin with today's session then. The first question for you is, consider the following statements about PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Okay. Statement A says that the scheme is implemented under Skill India Mission. Statement B says that the current phase of the scheme has provision for 75% placement under after training. Statement C says that provision of reserving 45% total beneficiaries for women. So, which of these statements are correct? Pause the video here, try to answer yourself, and then recheck by resuming into the video. Okay. So, the answer for this question is statement A and C are correct. That is, option number C is the correct answer. Let's discuss about Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So, you know that Kaushal Vikas Yojana was launched in the year 2015. So 2025, in the year 2025, Kaushal Vikas Yojana marks a decade. So that is why this scheme becomes very important from NABARD point of view, because NABARD, NABARD is asking scheme related questions in phase 2 of the exam, right? That is even in the descriptive question. So you never know. In February, in this year 2025, NABARD, this question or this scheme may also be asked in descriptive, right? So you should be very prepared. You should know all the features, A to Z reforms, everything you should know, okay, about Kaushal Vikas Yojana for NABARD 2025. So Kaushal Vikas Yojana comes under which ministry? It comes under Ministry of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, and it comes under Skill India Mission. Now you know that Kaushal Vikas Yojana is one of the program under Skill India Mission. The first task for you is to find out which are the other programs under Skill India Mission. Okay, and try to answer it into the comment section. That one we have is PMKVY. What are the other programs which are there under Skill India Mission? Right? Okay. Coming back to the point, that over 1.63 crore youth has been trained since its inception in industry relevant skills under Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Now, what are the key features of Kaushal Vikas Yojana? First thing, that there are two types of training under Kaushal Vikas Yojana. One is short-term training, other one is recognition of prior learning. Under short-term training, the duration is 3 to 6 months, right? And if you talk about recognition of prior learning here, the informal workers who already have skills, such kind of workers are recognized and then they are certified. The focus is given on artisans, weavers, traditional craftsmen, etc. Inclusive participation, so 45% is reserved for women beneficiaries, and also there is a significant coverage of SC and ST. If you talk about Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, so this is implemented under with Digital India Vision. That means this is a digitally linked version of the Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So accordingly, it is linked with Academic Bank of Records for formal skill recognition. Under this Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, emerging skills are focused and traditional and heritage based skills are focused. So emerging skills like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, mechatronics, drones are focused. On the other hand, support is also provided to the traditional and heritage based skills, right? This is where the statement B was wrong, you see, because in Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, placement component has been delinked. Okay, so I hope this Kaushal Vikas Yojana, the major points regarding Kaushal Vikas Yojana is clear to all of you, right? And please remember to answer this particular question in the comment section. What are the other programs apart from Kaushal Vikas Yojana in Skill India Mission? Moving to question number 2. Consider the following statements and identify the incorrect ones. You have to identify the incorrect one. Okay. First is given statement A. Field trials for GM maize are set to begin in Kerala Agriculture University. There are two variants of GM maize, herbicide tolerant and disease resistant. And third statement says that technology provider for the trials is Bayer Crop Science. So which of these statements are incorrect? So answer to this question is option number A. That is statement A and statement B are incorrect. Now why statement A and B are incorrect? Let's talk about the news. Punjab Agriculture University to begin GM maize field trials. So it's not a Kerala Agriculture University, it is Punjab Agriculture University. Therefore, statement A is incorrect, right? Now, this field trials will begin during Kharif 2025, following the approval from Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee and the Punjab government. So, PAU has already received the approval from Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee and the Punjab government. Now, there are two variants of GM maize. One is your herbicide tolerant, that is, the maize is tolerant to glyphosate K salt, and the second type is that it is insect resistant. That is why statement B was wrong, right? Because the two variants that was mentioned in the statement was herbicide tolerant and disease resistant. Not disease resistant, it is insect resistant. Insects like lepidopteran pests like stem borer and army worm. Okay, these are the two variants of the GM maize. Technology provider is Bayer Crop Science, and regulatory authority obviously it is Department of Biotechnology. Now, why this field trials are? What is the objective of this field trials? Number one, to assess the agronomic performance, environmental biosafety of GM maize. Second is to generate scientific evidence for future policy decisions. And third thing is that they will be maintaining what non-commercial status. That means the field trials will be purely for research purpose and not for marketing or commercialization. Right. So this is about your second news that we have covered, that PAU will be beginning the GM maize field trials. What are the other GM crops whose field trials has been conducted in India? Okay, please, this is the second question for you. Answer it into the comment section. That which are the other crops whose genetically modified other crops whose field trials have been conducted in India, right? Okay. Coming to the third question, question number 3. Which organization has signed a memorandum of understanding to establish an adaptive agriculture research and extension center in Hyderabad? So option A says ICAR and ICARDA. Option B says IARI and ICRISAT. Option C says TAFE ICRISAT. Option D says ANGRAO and ICRISAT. Option E says none of the above. So correct answer to this question is option number C, that is TAFE and ICRISAT. I hope all of you know what is TAFE, right? So it is the Tractors and Farm Equipment Limited, right? So, this particular organization, Tractors and Farm Equipment Limited, has signed a memorandum of understanding with ICRISAT. So, third question for you to answer into the comment section is that where is the headquarter of ICRISAT? Okay, where is the headquarter of ICRISAT? So coming back to the news, Tractors and Farm Equipments Limited signed a memorandum of understanding with International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, that is ICRISAT, to establish a J-Farm Adaptive Agriculture Research Center at the ICRISAT campus in Hyderabad. Now, why this particular center has been launched? What is the objective? Number one, to promote sustainable agriculture, and second is to develop scale-appropriate mechanism. So, sustainable agricultural practices, water management strategies, soil conservation techniques, these will be promoted in this particular center. And second thing, they will be developing and demonstrating farm mechanization technologies to small and marginal farmers, and emphasis will also be provided for crop residue management. Since you see, TAFE is there, so therefore automatically there will be things about farm mechanization, there will be things about crop residue management, right? Now, what is the significance of this particular center, that is Adaptive Agriculture Research Center? That it supports climate resilient agriculture goals, strengthen public-private research ecosystem, and also inclusive mechanization for smallholder empowerment. Okay, so I hope this news is also clear to you. The previous news regarding PAU and this news regarding this adaptive agriculture, this is directly related to ARD current affairs, right? So this becomes very, very important for phase 1. Whereas regarding PMKVY, that is very important for phase 2 of NABARD this year, right? Let's move to question number 4 then. Consider the following statements about employees deposit linked linked insurance. Okay, so this question is from the ESI perspective, right? Okay, let's see the statements regarding employees' deposit linked insurance. Statement A says that nominees will receive at least 30,000 under EDLI even if the PF balance is below that amount. Statement B says gap up to 60 days between jobs would be counted as continuous service. Statement C says that if the employee dies, it's not employer. If the employee dies within 6 months of the last PF deposit and it remains and he or she remains on the employer roll, the family is eligible for EDLI benefit. So you will have to recognize the incorrect statement out of this three. So answer this to this particular question is option number B, that is the statement A is incorrect. Now why statement A is incorrect? We'll talk about it. So recently certain key reforms has been announced by Ministry of Labor and Employment regarding this employees deposit linked insurance scheme. So what are the three most important reforms that has been brought about by the ministry? Let's see. Number one is regarding the minimum assurance benefit, that nominees will be receiving at least 50,000, not 30,000. Right? It is 50,000 under EDLI even if the PF balance is below that amount. So what is PF? It is provident fund, right? Reform number two is the relaxed rule for breaks in employment, that gaps up to 60 days between jobs would be counted as continuous service. So this 60 days is also becomes very important. Death within 6 months of the last PF contribution, that if the employee dies within 6 months of the last PF deposit and remains on the employer roll, then the family will be eligible for EDLI benefits. Now that we have talked about the three reforms announced by the ministry, let's talk about EDLI scheme. Okay, what and when this scheme was launched, what is the aim of the scheme? Okay, so EDLI, that is Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme, was launched or it came into effect on 1st of August 1976. It comes under the Ministry of Labor and Employment and is being administered under EPFO. Okay, when it is said employees administered under, if it is asked that EDLI is administered by whom, do not write Ministry of Labor and Employment. If EPFO is given in the option, if EPFO is not given in the option, then you can answer labor and employment. But if EPFO is given in the option and Ministry of Labor Employment is also given in the option, then answer for the administration part will be EPFO, right? So those small differences you should be able to recognize. Now the scheme provides life insurance coverage. So since it's an insurance, what kind of insurance it provides? Life insurance, okay, to all employees who are members of EPF or PF exempted trust under section 17 of the EPF Act. The maximum benefit of this particular scheme is what? That is up to 7 lakhs. However, it depends upon the last drawn salary and the tenure of service. The scheme ensures financial support to family of an employee in the event of death during service, right? So this is about your EDLI. I hope this particular news is also clear to you. Coming to the last question for today, question number 5. Which state has earned itself the fame of the first Indian state to grant agriculture status to livestock and poultry farming? Okay, so which state, whether it's Kerala, whether it's Punjab, whether it's West Bengal, whether it's Maharashtra, or whether it's Tamil Nadu? The answer for this question is option number D, that is Maharashtra. So Maharashtra has become the first state to grant agriculture status to livestock and poultry farming. So this has become the first Indian state to do so, right? Now, why this granting of the agriculture status? Why is it important, or what it actually means? Okay. Now, see, traditionally, India's agriculture policy prioritized the crop farming, like paddy farming, wheat farming, in that way, right? We prioritize whenever we say agricultural policy, the policy primarily aims towards this crop farming, and livestock has always been treated as an allied activity. That is why we say na agriculture and allied activity, because this livestock, fishery, this poultry, these are treated as allied activities. But by granting of this agriculture status to livestock and poultry, so now this also becomes what? Primary sector under agriculture policy in Maharashtra. Okay. So, as I was telling you, that traditionally India's agriculture policy prioritized the crop farming while livestock is treated as an allied activity. So, this included the livestock farmers from agriculture specific benefits like your subsidized power, institutional credit, tax exemptions, right? So, Maharashtra's move seeks to breach these policy gap and recognize the economic importance of animal husbandry. So now that Maharashtra has announced about this agriculture status granting to livestock and poultry, what will be the impact? That is, it is going to boost annual rural income by 7,080 crore. This number becomes very important. Huh? How the rural income will be enhanced by 7,080 crore? Because now that we've seen that agriculture specific benefits will be available to the livestock and poultry farmers, so they will be able to what expand their poultry farming, dairy farming, sheep and goat farming, and also fishery units, right? This particular thing will ensure that policy parity between crop producers and livestock farmers, and livestock units like poultry, dairy, fisheries eligible for subsidized agriculture power tariffs and other tariffs like for infrastructure, for solar pumps and all these things. Even the livestock and dairy farmers or poultry farmers or fishery farmers will also be able to get benefit of those subsidies. And when the farmers will be getting subsidies, so automatically what will happen, the input cost will be lowered, which will help as a boost for the marginal and landless farmers. Okay, so I hope it is clear that how granting of agriculture status to livestock and poultry farming will help the farmers, right? So with this, we have covered five things. First one, PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Second is regarding the GM maize field trials. I asked you two questions from this two particular things, isn't it? Regarding in Kaushal Vikas Yojana, I asked you about the programs which are there apart from Kaushal Vikas Yojana and Skill India. Then what are the other GM crops which are for which field trials have been conducted in India. And in the third question, we talked about TAFE and ICRISAT's Memorandum of Understanding, and I asked you that where is the headquarter of ICRISAT. In the fourth question, we have talked about EDLI, and in this fifth one, we have talked about the Maharashtra granting agriculture status to livestock and poultry farming. So I hope you've learned something new in this session, and I hope that this session will help you to answer any question if asked from these topics. So that's all for today. Thank you.